Xiaomi 12T Review. With its big, powerful display and OLED screen bright enough to withstand direct sunlight, the Xiaomi 12T is a versatile device for content gourmets. But it'll be disappointing if you don't get any improvements from the previous generation. Both devices come with an identical battery capacity 3000 mAh, so they should last pretty much the same amount of time between charges. However, the 12T does feature a larger 3500 mAh battery compared to the 2800 mAh cell found in the 10T. That means the 12T could potentially offer longer runtime if you're constantly streaming video or playing games. The 12T has a lower price tag than the 12T Pro but offers similar performance. Both models last long enough that they won't break the bank. Despite these shortcomings, however, the 12T remains an excellent choice if you want a powerful smartphone at a bargain price. If you're looking for an affordable smartphone, then the Nokia 12T might be worth considering. However, if you want a premium device, then we'd recommend checking out our top pick instead. The Xiaomi 12T has an almost identical design to the 12T Pro, but there are some differences. Good news for the cheaper 12T. There isn't anything too ambitious going on here when it comes to style or design, but there is something really nice about the matte finish of the rear window. In addition to the new design, the 12T also comes with an updated version of Android 7.0 Nougat out of the box. It's got a dual camera system on the rear 16MP plus 13MP and a single camera on the front 8MP. The battery capacity is 3000 mAh. The 12T feels nice but isn't quite like a real high-end Android phone because of all that plastic. It doesn't even come close to having the IP53 water resistance rating of the best phones. And it's only really waterproof enough for a few drops of water, rather than a full dunking. For similar prices, the Google Pixel 7 has better specs than the OnePlus 6T. Of course, the Pixel 7 is a much smaller Android, so the Xiaomi 12T seems better suited for gaming and watching videos. This leads to another point you should consider. Similar to another Xiaomi phone of this size, Pixel 7 is large. And it's fairly thick, at 8mm, with no tapered glass front to fool your hand into thinking it's thinner. It has an excellent display, but it doesn't have a headphone jack and there aren't any expandable memory options. It also comes with a fingerprint sensor built into its display. It has some advantages over top-tier Android devices. However, it doesn't justify its price tag by itself. Another aspect of the 12T's display is its excellent performance in bright sunlight. It has an OLED panel which allows for high levels of brightness and wide viewing angles. It's brighter than the 12T Pro. Much lighter than the 12T Pro's brightness, the 12T can reach 490 nits indoors and 890 nits outdoors in bright sunlight, which makes it ideal for use outside. With a wide color gamut screen, you get HDR support too. You couldn't ask for anything else at that price. Like other mid-range Xiaomi devices, the maximum frame rates are up to 120 Hz, which matches that of the most expensive Android devices. With an Android version of 12, the Xiaomi 12T runs the MIUI operating system. It comes with 8GB of RAM and has a battery capacity of 3000 mAh. A few parts are out of place. Xiaomi changes how the notification pane and Wi-Fi panel operate. Normally, you tap down once for messages, twice for connections, and so on. On Xiaomi phones, swipes from the left side of your display take you to the notification panel, and swipes from the opposite direction take you to features. The display is a bit large for comfort. While you can swipe up from the bottom to switch between the two screens, this feels like an unnecessary complication. Apart from these and the standard series of pre-installed apps, like Amazon, and games like Genshin Impact and Tiles, the phone is generally fine. I've only encountered one major issue with the 12T. After a night of sleep, it tends to refuse to wake up. To fix this, I had to perform a hard reset. The chip probably makes a difference. It's the MediaTek Dimensity 8100, which has similar power to something like the Snapdragon 880, a popular choice for 2021 flagships and value-focused performance smartphones in 2022. It hasn't been tested yet because I haven't had time to properly test it, but if you're interested in trying out the XDA version of Fortnite, then you might want to check out the XDA page for it. However, we can estimate its performance potential by running Geekbench 5. The Xiaomi 12T scored 3,512 in the Geekbench 5 CPU test, which is equivalent to the score of the Snapdragon 888. The Snapdragon 855 Plus has excellent performance on both the CPU and graphics side, but true flagships of 2021 have better peak gaming power than the Snapdragon 855 Plus. For gaming purposes, I prefer not to rely on abstracted benchmarking, so I've also tried playing Ark Survival Evolved at maximum graphical settings on my phone. This isn't always ideal because it can cause some lower powered devices to run slower than they would otherwise, but the 12T didn't experience any performance issues whatsoever. It appears that the Dimensity 1200, 1300, 8100 chipsets offer better thermal performance than their predecessors. The Mi A2 has 3 rear-facing lenses. It features a 108MP Samsung ISOCELL Bright GW1 image processor, a 16MP wide-angle lens, a 5MP depth sensing camera, and a 2MP macro lens. Those mid-range Android phones usually come with an 8MP front camera and a 13MP rear one. Occasionally, the HDR mode doesn't appear to work properly, but these are pretty rare. And I haven't seen too much of the oversaturated effect of some of the Sony A7R 312MP photos. Surprisingly, the 20MP camera on the iPhone 11 Pro Max takes better photos at 2x magnification than this smartphone. However, if you open these images up on a PC screen, you can see some evidence of image degradation before you even magnify them. Night shots from the Xiaomi 12T aren't quite as good as some of its competitors, but they're not bad either. Without using the night light feature, photos may appear slightly softer and less detailed than they would if you were able to use the night light feature. However, the night light feature improves image quality by helping with color, contrast, and details. You'll be able to see the better dynamic range and shadows in some lower-priced phones. The 12T doesn't include the top-end features found in the 12T Pro, including shooting at 4K resolution and 60 FPS. It can however capture footage at up to 1080p resolution and 30 FPS. You don't need top-of-the-line hardware for decent results. In the low to mid-range, both 4K and HD offer good quality images.